Hello students, this is the first video going over the Quadratic Relations Test Review worksheet. The first section is vocabulary. If you look at the vocabulary, the main focus of vocabulary is going to be on equations. And I can tell you, these equations are not difficult to figure out if you just think through them. The first thing I'm going to tell you is it's easy to figure out which of these equations makes a parabola and which of these equations makes a circle, because the ones that make a parabola have their y variable that's not squared. So in this case, this y variable is only to the first power. It doesn't have a square, and that means this has to be a parabola. Everything we learned last semester. This next one, if you see the difference between that one and this one, the next one has y minus k. That's a binomial squared. If you multiply y minus k times y minus k, so two binomials multiplied together, the first term is going to end up being y times y, and that's going to be y squared. So this y variable is squared. That means we know this is going to make a circle. It has a squared x, just like the parabola, but it also has a squared y, unlike a parabola. If you look at the next one, this one has a y, again, that's not squared. That means it's going to be a parabola. And then the last one, take a look. Clearly this one has a x squared term, but also a y squared term. That means that one is going to make a circle. So now that we've figured out what shape each of them is going to make if we graph them, all we got to do is figure out what's standard form, what's vertex form. Take a look at the parabola. Well, you know this is vertex form because h and k tell us the vertex of the parabola. So that's vertex form. Which means this one, and you guys have done this one for a long time, this is standard form. Now here's the only confusing part, figuring out what is standard form for a circle and what is general form of a circle. Now when you look at all the questions that we go through on this review sheet, you're going to see, look at even question number 5, right? The standard equation of a circle. That's the one we're dealing with all the time. The standard form of a circle tells us the radius and the center. That's why we use standard form, because it tells us exactly all the things we need to know about the circle, the center and the radius. So if you look at this equation right here, this has an h and a k. There's your center. Just like for the parabola, h and k is your vertex. H and k for a circle is the center, and there's your radius. So this one must be standard form, the one that we mostly worked with in this unit. I can actually write the word standard. And so that leaves the last one here, the one that doesn't have any parentheses. This is circle general form. The only time you see general form in this unit is when we're going to convert it from general form to standard form by completing the square. So that's the one time you're going to run into a circle general form equation. And then the last thing here is just to do the definition of radius. Make sure you know that radius is the distance from the center of a circle to a point on the circle. So if you had a drawing of a circle here, and we had a center of that circle, the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. I could go any direction, and that radius for a circle is going to be exactly the same. So that is the radius, the center of a circle to a point on the circle.